How's it going, everybody? It's Monday,
It is.
which is the start of the week, which is okay. You know, here at the Wrestling Rundown, we can be Monday people because Monday Night Raw happens on Mondays.
That it does.
This is episode 45, the Wrestling Rundown. I'm William Regal. This is Eugene. And we're going to kick things off with, a rundown of the matches that may have participated on Monday Night Raw.
Yes. So we had Harper versus Ambrose go to a no contest. We had the New Day defeat the Lucha Dragons to move on to the tag team title match at Extreme Rules. We had Fandango defeat Curtis Axel. We had Naomi defeat Brie Bella. We had Sheamus defeat Zack Ryder. That was a weird one. We had Cena defeat Kane to retain the U.S. title. We had Miz defeat Mizdow to keep the Miz brand. Ryback defeated Adam Rose. We had Seth Rollins defeat Dolph Ziggler in our main event. There was a lot of in-between segments on this one.
Lots and lots of in-between segments. But I think the running theme of the night has to be out of nowhere.
Yes, we opened up the show with Randy Orton coming down. He's surrounded by the steel cage that him and Seth Rollins will be facing each other this Sunday at Extreme Rules for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And he starts talking about what he's going to do to Seth Rollins. That he's going to use the cage. He's going to grab him by that blonde streak in his hair. He's going to run him into the cage. He's going to inflict all the punishment he possibly can because Seth Rollins thinks that he's taken away Randy Orton's, greatest weapon, the RKO.
Yeah. Orton's theory is, hey, I don't care that you took away the RKO because in his opinion, the RKO is too merciful of a maneuver.
It's a quick death.
Yeah, for this match. That his goal is to just basically torture Seth Rollins into losing.
Yeah, and Seth Rollins has kind of, set himself up for that because he doesn't have any backup. No one can get to him at this point because they will be inside of a steel cage. But Seth Rollins comes out. He talks his usual shtick about, there is a reason I am the champion, and it's because, I am the greatest WWE champion of all time. Yeah, sure, Randy, you're a bona fide Hall of Famer, but I'm that much better than you are. I'm that much smarter. I'll find a way out, and I will pin you, or blah blah blah. And Randy says, Seth says the line, Randy, go ahead and get all this stuff out of your system. And Randy says, you're right. You said, get this out of my system, out of my system, out of my system. Well, since the RKO is banned on Sunday, I'm going to go to the back, and all throughout the night, I'm going to RKO every son of a bitch I see back there. And then, before Raw is over, you can guarantee that I'll RKO you, and that is a promise.
Yeah, and I think Orton delivered.
Yes.
I'm not going to say every son of a bitch he saw.
No, but he did get 4, yeah.
5 total.
Five total, yes. But, yeah. So our first match was Dean Ambrose taking on Luke Harper. These two have been going at it for a couple weeks since Harper powerbombed Dean Ambrose through the ladder at WrestleMania. They've tried to powerbomb each other through just about anything they could find. And this starts off really hot and heavy. Lots of just brutal action. They fight out into the crowd. I'm surprised, the referee at this point is like, all right, you know what?
He gave up.
They're not coming back.
He gave up.
So he tosses it out. They fight up to the stage. Harper ends up throwing Dean Ambrose off. Ambrose kind of rolls out of it, though, kind of saving himself from the impact. And Harper just kind of storms away. And so now, obviously there was no closure at this particular match. So we officially have Dean Ambrose versus Luke Harper this Sunday in a Chicago street fight at Extreme Rules.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. I really enjoyed their 35 seconds that they had in the ring.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a start to a match, but then, the animosity took over and they just wanted to beat the shit out of each other.
And
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, the Chicago street fight's a rarity. I can't recall seeing one since WrestleMania 13.
Yeah, I think there might have been one somewhere in between, because, they do them on SmackDown when they go to Chicago, or on Raw when they go to Chicago, but yeah, I think this might be the first pay-per-view one since...
That's probably the truth. I mean, it's going to be hard to top the Nation of Domination versus Legion of Doom and Ahmed Johnson.
Yeah, that was a classic. So then we go to the back. Seth Rollins is trying to sneak away, sneak around the back, avoiding any attempts at an RKO that Randy Orton might take advantage of.
Or an upset director of operations.
Yes. He's scared by the primetime players, which was hilarious. But J&J kind of like, hey, what are you doing? No, don't scare the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. He's got a lot to deal with. And like, all right, fine, we're walking away. Rollins ends up meeting up with Triple H, and Rollins, like you were saying, had some issues with Kane last week. Kane not quite doing what Seth Rollins told him to do. Kane being the brunt of a lot of jokes since he didn't do anything spectacular at WrestleMania like the rest of the Authority did. So he's worried about Randy and he's worried about Kane, and Triple H says, well, you know what? When Kane gets here, we'll talk about it. We'll figure it out.
Like men.
And Rollins goes, well, what about Randy? I might need some extra security. And Triple H goes, Rollins, it's one guy. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I like the idea that's running here because it seems like now we get Triple H starting to realize, hey, maybe Rollins is kind of a baby.
Yeah. Yeah, it's starting to become very clear that he's only in the position he's in because they were very strategic in getting him there, and now it's a matter of keeping him there.
Yeah, it's like he's spoiled.
Yep, spoiled little brat. Up next, we had a number one contenders tag team match. The winner getting to face the Masters this Sunday for the tag team titles. The New Day taking on the Lucha Dragons.
Yeah, I definitely thought interesting choice of teams.
Yes.
To put in this position, and I definitely thought it was a lot more interesting that the New Day won.
Yes, I love the way they did win, though. A very clever win. The New Day really accepting the heel role now, which is good. The Lucha Dragons with a lot of really cool offense in this one.
Like usual.
But the end would come...
Their tandem, like moonsaults.
Yes. Yeah, they
had like a build up to it and everything.
Yeah, they knock both Big E and Kofi to the outside. I think even Xavier Woods gets knocked, or no, Xavier Woods is kind of off to the side, but they both climb up to the second rope, do the little lucha taunt, do a double moonsault to the outside. Ref starts counting, and then you kind of see Xavier Woods duck down, and you're like, wait, what the hell's he doing? And you see the legal men at this point are Kofi and Sin Cara. Both are trying to get back into the ring before the referee hits the 10 count. Kofi makes it in, but Xavier Woods is under the ring and grabs Sin Cara's legs, not allowing Sin Cara to get back in the ring, so the New Day becomes the number one contenders to face the Masters for the tag team titles.
Yeah, it's a really good utilization of having a third person at ringside.
Yeah.
Even a lot of times when you see people with managers, the managers can sort of either fall into they're just there, or like, okay, they get involved a lot, but it's like the same thing every single time.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get a lot of creative combinations of things that'll happen with the New Day.
Yeah, definitely.
Because they have that ability to have, they interchange who's in the matches a lot.
Yes.
So, depending on who's on the outside, you have a good variety of what could happen.
Yeah. But the New Day wouldn't be able to celebrate too long because the first casualties of the RKO-a-thon would be Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, but Big E would walk away and be unscathed. But still scared.
Yeah, the way they had their face off and walk apart, it really surprised me that they didn't end up booking them in a match against each other like later in the night.
Oh,
because that happens a lot.
You expected Big E versus
Yeah.
Randy Orton? That would have been interesting.
It happens a lot where you have like conflict, and even if they're two people who aren't like in a storyline together, if they have that like face off and like ooh, where there's a little bit of tension and they walk away, like okay, well we're gonna see what happens. We'll put them in a match.
Yeah.
Maybe build for something later on.
Yeah. Well, this did build the. This was the start of the RKO-a-thon, so yeah. I mean, maybe we'll get them on SmackDown. Maybe we'll get them the night after Extreme Rules. I'm sure we'll see this eventually. But yeah, it was a good babyface spot for Randy Orton. And
see the New Day versus the Masters and Randy Orton.
That'd be an awesome 6-man. I'm all for that. Let's do that. Up next, we had a fun short match between Fandango and Curtis Axel. Fandango is making his entrance as soon as we come back from the commercial break. And Curtis Axel starts like dancing to Fandango's theme song.
The Fandangoing is very catchy.
Yes, it is. And Fandango thinks it's hilarious. He sees Curtis Axel having some fun. Good. It was short, but a lot of good stuff. They packed a lot into the few minutes that they had. Fandango ends up picking up the win with the last dance, and then they mess up. They play his salsa theme, and then like halfway through the replay, they change back to the Dada theme.
Yeah. Somebody dropped the ball there.
Yeah, a little bit. We get Triple H coming out next, talking about the return of Tough Enough, which will be June 23rd. It'll be on the USA Network.
Everybody send your tapes in.
Yeah.
Or, wait a minute, I just dated myself.
Send your
upload your videos
your
to
MP4s.
Upload your videos to, what is it, toughenough.com?
It's WWEtoughenough.com.
Yeah, I'm interested to see who shows up. I mean,
yeah,
there's a lot of people who I would like to see on Tough Enough. But it's a weird concept in my head, and I had at the same time like having a hard time wrapping my head around it. With the last Tough Enough 2, is that they're doing this thing while they already have like the performance center.
yeah,
And they already have like, like 24 people just doing nothing but training to be at WWE over here, and then you're gonna have like 15 people get to be on a TV show where only like 1 or 2 people are gonna make it.
Yeah, and Triple H did make it that this will be the first time since I think the first season where it was named that 1 man and 1 woman will get the contracts.
Yeah.
Season 2 and on, it's been whoever's the most impressive. Season 1 was really the only time there was 1 male and 1 female winner.
Yeah, initially that was supposed to be the rule going through each season.
Yeah. Changed immediately in season 2 when we had Linda and Jackie win.
Yeah, and again in season 3 with
Yeah.
John and Matt.
Yeah.
But I mean that was supposed to be what the whole Tough Enough thing was about, but they saw at those times like, hey, these people put more effort into what they were doing than the other people did. And but since this 3rd season of Tough Enough, that got scrapped and it just became 1 winner.
Yeah. And so now we're gonna have 10 guys, 5 girls, and we know that 1 male, 1 female will get a contract after the end of Tough Enough. But this brings out Kane. Kane starts talking,
Triple H I think you're a little seasoned to be on Tough Enough.
Yeah, there were a lot of good lines tonight on Raw. Kane talks about how he can't put up with the spoiled champion that is Seth Rollins. He keeps running his mouth, and he has no other choice but to put in his 2 weeks. And Triple H says, well, "Hang on. I know Seth can be hard to deal with sometimes, but let's go to the back. Let's talk this through like we always do.
Cooler heads prevail."
But unfortunately, Seth Rollins is a loudmouth, and he makes his way out to the ring and says, "See, look at him. He's nothing but a coward. He can't. He's worthless. He's not doing anything right. He didn't. He's just running all of the shit on Kane.
And then Kane blows up.
Kane lost it, and
he verbally chokeslammed Seth Rollins.
and
then Triple H has to play daddy.
Yeah. And Triple H makes
Triple H gets his nose in there.
Yeah.
Just split him apart.
And that's when conversations stop. When Triple H's nose gets involved,
it's really hard. It's really hard to see the person on the other side.
Exactly. But Triple H makes an interesting choice and makes Kane the gatekeeper for the cage match on Sunday. So anyone who wants to get in or out of the cage has to go through Kane.
Yeah, the one thing I think is strange is since when is the designated role called the gatekeeper?
I don't know. For this one time when it's the devil's favorite demon who's going to be the gatekeeper in the cage match.
For some reason, I just keep thinking of Ghostbusters.
That's exactly what I thought of.
All right.
Yeah, it was.
I'm not the only one.
I don't know. It was weird. I don't know.
But Triple H makes the point, hey, since Kane's going to be the one in charge of the door, you might want to try getting back on his good side.
Yeah.
Sethy boy.
And Kane even extends the hand to Seth, and Seth being Seth, he's really sketchy when it comes to Kane now, especially after what happened last week.
And he did shake his hand, but then he kind of
yeah, it was a very
put it down like it was dirty.
It was a very cocky handshake, very very uneasy, and then we come back from commercial and they're already fighting in the back.
Yeah.
They're already arguing again. Triple
H comes back through Gorilla and he's like, "Are you guys serious?"
he's just trying to he's trying to separate them again, and he lets Kane know that you've been around this business for a long time, but you're corporate now. You have corporate responsibilities. You are no longer hellfire and brimstone. And Kane says, "Yes, I am, and I'll prove it."
Yeah, I was really excited
by
that line and sort of anticipating what's Kane gonna come up with here?
I was a little intrigued. And then Rollins opens his mouth again, starts talking crap about Kane, and Triple H says, "You know what? He's got a point though. You have that championship, and a lot of people helped you get there. So you need to prove your worth. You need to prove that you deserve that title. So you're gonna have the match you were supposed to have last week, and you'll be facing Dolph Ziggler."
Yeah, Triple H threw in a line there that really hit home with me. It was just he's saying oh, Rollins keeps talking about how he's the man and how he's the best champion ever, and Triple H goes, "I remember, back when I was in my heyday, being the champion meant you went out every week, but that was the proof that you were the champion, is that you went out every week and you beat everybody." I was yeah, I remember that. Especially during the Attitude Era.
Yeah, the champion was on every single
the
show.
Brand split stuff is the champion. Most of the time, not only was the champion on every single show, but the champion would wrestle.
Yeah, if not defending the title, at least against somebody.
Yeah.
To prove that they were in fact worthy of the title. So yeah, a good call back to the Attitude Era. Up next, we had Naomi taking on Brie Bella, Nikki at commentary. Paige is officially out of the title match this Sunday, and Nikki is accepting all challenges. Doesn't matter who it is. It's looking strongly like it's going to be Naomi, but we could see maybe a swerve.
No, I don't know if maybe I was just hearing them wrong, but before the commercial break, leading up to this match, I feel like Michael Cole mentioned that there was a number one contender.
A new number one contender. I heard the same thing. But
And
then when the match happened,
they don't mention it at all.
Yeah, nothing at all. They're just, they just keep asking Nikki, like, who do you think's gonna challenge you? Oh, it looks like it could be Naomi. And it was, there was, like, it was definitive, and then it wasn't in like a 3-minute span. Naomi and Brie had a really good match. I like their match a lot. Naomi really showing the vicious side since her turn last week on Paige.
Yeah, it was a decent match. I was a little let down because there wasn't a lot of wrestling.
Yeah,
It was a lot of Naomi just beating up Brie with punches and kicks and rest holds. And when you have like two people who are legitimately decent like wrestlers in the ring and you limit the match to just them punching and kicking each other basically, it's a really big letdown for me.
And it was kind of weird with Naomi playing heel. I was like, am I supposed to cheer for Brie now? But Brie's a Bella. Like, Bellas are supposed to be heels.
Yeah, the crowd got behind Brie for a while.
Yeah, Brie even had like the babyface comeback and everything. Hit her drop kicks.
Yeah, so I feel like maybe they're just trying to pull a forced face turn for the Bellas.
Maybe.
All of a sudden.
I don't know. It's weird. Naomi ends up picking up the win with the rear view. She's, celebrating, hey, look at me, look how cool I am. And Nikki holds up the Divas title.
It kind of makes sense a little bit, too, because I realized, going back, I don't remember Nikki being, like, super catty on commentary as per usual.
No, she was actually very professional. And they did have, the Bellas are on the Muscle and Fitness Hers magazine cover.
Yeah.
So, they're pushing the Bellas at this point. The Bella brand is holding strong at this point. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm thinking
maybe it's a face turn.
A little unconventional face turn.
We'll have to see what happens. We had a backstage segment where Heath Slater was eating salad with Eric Rowan, and he goes, "Hey, I'm gonna, Cena's doing that U.S. Open challenge. I'm gonna accept it. I'm gonna be the new U.S. champion. Hey, what dressing did you put on your salad?" And Eric Rowan got up and walked away. Hey, you're walking away from the new U.S. champion, man. And then he get RKO'd through the table into his salad. And I think Randy Orton picked up like
a tortilla chip.
Picked up a tortilla chip. That makes 3. So yeah, I mean, a strange little segment just to allow Randy Orton to hit another RKO. It was fun.
Also, like one of the things I got the biggest kick out of was the fact that like they just assembled the weirdest looking crew of people to put in catering.
Yeah, who the fuck was the dude with the white Super Saiyan fucking wig on? What was that?
I don't know. But yeah, there was a very strange grouping of people in catering, including one of Zack Ryder's close friends and a few others.
It was Heath Slater, Eric Rowan, and jobbers and random people.
I think I'm gonna say that a handful of them were probably Rosebuds.
Probably. I didn't really get a very good look at all the Rosebuds while Adam Rose was out there later in the night. We had Roman Reigns call out the Big Show. He wasn't in a talking mood. He was in a fighting mood. But he didn't get the Big Show.
No, we got the super successful Raw return of Bo Dallas.
Yeah.
And Bo Dallas was really kind of calling Roman Reigns out. And
he called him the Tim Tebow of the WWE.
And, I mean, it's harsh, but not completely untrue.
That's true.
Roman Reigns, has had his sights set on a couple specific goals as of late, and has kind of fallen short the last few times that he's tried to upend the man fuck the authority and become the champion.
That's fair.
He called him Outback Jack in Kevlar.
And he quoted Yoda from Star Wars Episode 1, which apparently to him was the greatest Star Wars movie ever made.
Okay, no, legit, I laughed for like 2 minutes after he said that.
It was great. It was great heel work by Bo Dallas. But for his troubles, he gets Superman punched and speared. And then Roman Reigns says that he's going to bring the big fight to the big show. And he will be the last man standing. And you can believe that.
He even did his best, like, falsetto, squinty-eyed
Believe that.
Bo Dallas impersonation.
It's pretty funny.
It's my favorite Roman Reigns.
I appreciated it, and this is exactly what Roman Reigns needs to do in promos. It just needs to be very simple. Doesn't need to be over the top. He doesn't need to talk a lot. It's just let the heel do the work, and let Roman Reigns throw in a catchphrase, and it's perfect. It was good.
I also think that's what Bo Dallas needs to keep doing.
Just interrupt people?
Interrupting people, just calling everybody out on their shit, and making really absurd comments like Star Wars Episode 1 is the best Star Wars movie.
Just in time because the new trailer came out over the weekend, so it was very timely for Bo Dallas. Then we had Sheamus versus Zack Ryder, which was
Sheamus on special guest commentary.
Which was, Sheamus just beating the fuck out of Zack Ryder while talking into a microphone.
It's something I haven't done in a while, but like spot of the night, Zack Ryder getting thrown over the top rope.
Oh fuck, man!
That was
hard.
That was borderline Royal Rumble '99 Takamichi event, like
wham! Face
2000.
first. Yeah, it was
like he went the same velocity, but he didn't go face first. He went onto his side, which was a lot smarter because Taka got fucked up after that.
Yeah. This was a good segment though. I liked Sheamus just not only beating Zack Ryder down, but berating him on the microphone as well, and really just putting over the fact that he is bigger and better than all of the fans. He's bigger and better than all of the little guys that are running around WWE. It was a good heel segment, and I actually forgot the match was happening, and I thought for sure it had been thrown out. But Sheamus ends up throwing Zack Ryder.
It's a unique thing because it's like you would, even the commentators said that they forgot the match was happening.
Yeah.
But he didn't do anything illegal.
Exactly. Yeah, and it wasn't.
There's nothing against the rules about having the microphone in the ring.
This is true, and he didn't use the microphone as a weapon. He attempts a third bro kick, but before he can, Dolph Ziggler makes the save. Zigzag hit on Sheamus. Sheamus rolls out, this causing a disqualification on Zack Ryder. So Sheamus wins this beatdown by disqualification. Because, that blew my mind. I was like, wait a second. That whole thing was still going. And I was like, oh yeah, he didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Great on them for just completely pushing away that the match was happening.
Yeah, and I was thinking okay, well I knew Sheamus was about to have a match. I was like, well, I mean, Daniel Bryan, they're holding off on using Daniel Bryan for anything, and they already did Neville, and I'm like, they're saving Ziggler for the pay-per-view now, and I'm like,
well, and Ziggler's facing Rollins anyway.
Yeah, and I was like, who are they gonna have face Sheamus? It's awesome to see Zack Ryder.
Yeah, Zack Ryder, albeit
not quite as little though as the other guys.
No, he's probably the biggest guy that Sheamus has gone against since he came back.
Yeah, but I can't really think they could have thrown him with one of the Matadors or
maybe. Yeah. It was a good choice though. It was a fan favorite, so he got some extra heel points there. So yeah, it was a good segment for everyone involved, and it added a lot of good build.
Maybe not for Zack Ryder.
Well, hey, he got TV time, so it was a good segment.
Hey, that's awesome.
That's
I'm glad to see Ryder on TV.
me too.
Period.
We get an update that on April 30th, after SmackDown, we're getting live with Chris Jericho on the WWE Network with Stephanie McMahon. If you've watched, I don't know if you've watched the Cena one yet.
I watched the first, maybe third of it.
Okay. I watched it. I enjoyed it. I listen to Talk as Jericho on a very frequent basis. So I'm excited to see, this is the third authority figure we've seen in a interview type setting on the network. We already got Vince and Triple H talking to Stone Cold, so now we'll get Stephanie talking with Jericho. It should be interesting.
I'm definitely looking forward to this one a lot more than I was looking forward to Jericho and Cena.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm afraid that it's going to be more of the same, where it's going to be like way too much of like a casual conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Where Stone Cold really like pushed buttons and kind of like pushed the envelope a little bit, and threw in some of the really questions that they didn't want him to ask.
Well, yeah.
Sort of things. And Jericho having that working relationship with WWE, still kind of like being able to come in and pop it and do a house show whenever he wants. And
yeah. Well, apparently Live with Chris Jericho is going to be a regular thing now. Because him and Austin both, talked about the rumors surrounding the switch from Stone Cold to Jericho. Is it because Stone Cold is, too off the cuff? Is he asking the wrong kind of questions? It's more so timing. Jericho has a lot of free time. He's actually... I think he just finished up a tour with Fozzy, so he doesn't have any serious obligations at the moment, but Stone Cold is getting ready to do, I think he's getting ready to do a movie. He's getting ready to do another season of Redneck Island. So he's got a lot of things that are going on, so he's not as free as Chris Jericho is, which was one of the big reasons, because originally they were going to keep going with the Steve Austin show, and they did the first two, and then they talked about it, and they couldn't really come up with a time schedule that worked for everybody.
Yeah, and I feel like maybe WWE was more okay with that than they'd want to let on.
Probably. I'm excited to hear Jericho and Stephanie talk. We know that the two of them have a lot of history as far as on the microphone stuff goes.
The one thing I'm looking forward to is how weird it's going to be to listen to them talk to each other from like a non-character standpoint.
Yes.
Because every time you see them with each other, it's like the character Chris Jericho making fun of Stephanie McMahon, and then vice versa. And this is going to be like just them as people, like friends who've known each other for years. Like, oh hey, and I'm going to be sitting there waiting for like insults. Just the whole show, like where's the trash bag hoe insult?
Maybe she'll let him do trash bag hoe for like an intro or an outro to the show. So up next we had Cena's Open Challenge, which he started off with a promo. This was a really good John Cena promo. Like I don't know what it was. I liked the way he went about this one. It wasn't much. I don't know what it was.
I felt like it was a carbon copy of last week's promo.
I don't know. There was
minus the phrase Siberian steel chain.
Yeah,
This was Russian
steel chain. I don't know what it was.
All the Siberian blacksmiths on Facebook were like, "What the fuck, Cena? That's not our stuff."
This is bullshit. I don't know. Something about it. I liked it. But then he segued into. Does that mean that I'm not going to be defending the U.S. title? Well, hell no. The U.S. Open Challenge happens now, and if you want some, come get some. And who accepted the challenge?
Brooklyn Brawler?
I think that was last week.
Oh yeah, it was Kane.
Yeah. Kane looking to prove that he still is Hellfire and Brimstone. He wasn't playing around.
No, and I feel like, they don't really put too much of a mention on it afterwards. I mean, you already said that, Cena retains. at the beginning of the show. But like they kind of like a couple times during after the match, they mentioned, oh well, Kane lost to John Cena.
Mm-hmm.
They also failed to mention that he beat the crap out of John Cena for the most part of this match.
Yeah, it was all Kane offense until Cena made his comeback.
Yeah.
And Cena even had trouble making his comeback. And then, he even got hit with the choke slam, kicked out, and then Kane set up for something, and he reversed into his setup and hit him with the AA, and Cena got the win. So it was more so like Kane was like focused on this. All of a sudden, just kind of lost his concentration for a second and lost the match.
Yeah, I was actually expecting like a disqualification finish to this match.
I kind of was
because
too.
I thought because of what he said earlier that Kane was just gonna kind of go overboard.
Well, I even thought
I'm still hellfire and brimstone. Like he was gonna like get frustrated and then just like take Cena to the outside and beat it. Like maybe drop him on the top of a table.
I was expecting Rusev to get involved. I was definitely, especially they had, Cena, didn't do his celebration in the ring. He got out immediately and walked up to the stage, and I thought, okay, here comes the blindside attack by Rusev. And it didn't happen. And I was really confused. But then we came back from commercial.
Another thing I want to note is that Cena, for another thing that, kind of adds to the fact, to me, the disappointment, they never mentioned how much that Cena put Kane over, like how much offense that Kane got, he basically destroyed Cena the whole match, is that also they mentioned it when it happened, but again, not afterwards, that Cena actually played up that he was like sort of afraid that Kane came out to answer the open challenge.
Because he really sold it, initially, because we've seen Ambrose and we've seen Stardust. What was it last week? Or was last week's Barrett, yeah, that's right. Kane definitely the most intimidating person to accept the open challenge. And it was, I don't know. I'm surprised they didn't really, it wasn't until you mentioned it that I was like, yeah, they didn't really put over the fact that Kane was extremely dominant in this match.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird situation because, do you put over Kane and try and help him, prove that he, is a viable person in the Authority, or do you put over the fact that Cena beats the Monster and that gives him the edge, but it also puts him at a disadvantage going into a match against Rusev? So I guess it was more so important to put over Cena going into the Rusev match as opposed to give Kane some credit in the Authority
storyline. I mean, as far as how they mention it later in the show, is a lot of it's more so, oh hey, it's another thing that Seth Rollins can get on Kane's case for.
Yeah, which I'm sure he will eventually. But we come back from commercial. Renee Young is talking to The Miz about his upcoming match against Damian Sandow, where the winner gets to keep the Miz brand. He starts putting over that, this is my movie, the Marine 4, blah, blah, blah. And then Renee goes, oh, wait, I'm just getting word that Byron Saxton is with the United States champion John Cena. And Miz goes, what?
Yeah, can we have the Miz segments get interrupted more often? Because it makes them way more interesting when they don't involve him.
Yeah. So we switch over to Byron. He's talking to John Cena about defeating Kane. And, John Cena talking about how surprised he was that Kane was the one that accepted the challenge. But now he's focused on his Russian chain match against Rusev. Rusev attacks with the chain, scares off Byron, puts him in probably the most uncomfortable accolade Cena's ever been in with a Russian chain up against his face.
Smushing his nose.
Yeah. That probably sucked a lot. And then the referees get Rusev to let go.
You mean the referee?
There's...
Why would... there had to be at a WWE show. There has to be at least 115 people working backstage. All the referees. All the referees, all the other wrestlers, all the enhancement talent and catering, all the agents, all the crew.
The dude in the Super Saiyan white wig, whatever the fuck that was.
Eric Rowan. Seriously.
Yeah. Eric Rowan was busy with the Rubik's Cube.
And only, one referee could come out and try to help John Cena.
I feel like it was a rib. There was 4 other ones standing off camera. They're like, oh man, we gotta help Cena. Let's go. You take the lead. And then the other 4 stopped and just watched him run up to Rusev.
Yeah.
But apparently it worked because Rusev walked away.
My theory, I was hoping that Orton was gonna run in and RKO Rusev.
That would have been hilarious.
Off of Cena's shoulders,
This leads into our Miz versus Mizdow match.
Is it weird that when Rusev puts Cena in the Accolade, I want Cena to, drop Rusev and yell, "Get off my back"?
Yes and no.
Alright.
Is that a good answer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have the Miz brand match. Summer Rae, good lord.
Right.
God. Oh my God.
I couldn't concentrate on
I
that.
know.
And I usually don't say that about Summer Rae. She's not one of my favorite.
But Daisy Dukes have a way of distracting any man.
Just her whole outfit.
She
was Daisy Duke.
She's just hot.
JBL, I think, even mentioned it.
Yeah. Miz and Mizdow have a good match. A lot of back and forth stuff.
Again, not much time.
Yeah.
Given the fact that this is supposed to be their feud ender.
Yeah. It was a stipulation match, and they didn't get a lot of time. And the surprise, which it actually took me by surprise when it happened, was Mizdow was in control, and was he.
Why were you surprised about Mizdow being in
control? No. I'm setting up my thought here. Hang on.
Oh, my bad.
Mizdow's in control. Miz is trying to has a go behind on him. Mizdow runs into the ropes, putting his head through, making the top rope hit Miz in the face, so he backs off. But while he's through the ropes, Summer Rae rakes his eyes. What the fuck?
Yeah,
she was so hot that she screwed over Mizdow.
Immediately she became just cold bitch ugly to me. Because she sided the Miz.
She's still wearing Daisy Dukes though.
I don't give a fuck.
I want to give a fuck.
It was a pair of bronze granny panties at that point. But no, I was surprised. I honestly didn't see it coming, which I thought was kind of refreshing for WWE. Yeah. To hit me with something I don't see coming, like an RKO out of nowhere.
Oh, segue.
But it's
not a segue.
One that was disappointing.
Yeah,
when WWE surprises me, a lot of times it's something really cool. This was the most disappointing surprise they could have had. Let's take somebody and make them like the Miz.
One thing
gross.
One thing that I was really hoping would happen out of this match was I was hoping that Mizdow would win, but then say, you know what, Miz, you're right. You are the Miz. You've created this brand, and I am going to allow you to keep the Miz Brown because I am Damien Sandow. You're welcome. And bring back his own catchphrase, keep the girl, but then say that the only reason the Miz is because Damien Sandow let him.
Yeah. And of course the Miz, anytime he wins, he's gonna rub it in.
Yeah.
And he decides to.
This is the first time in a long time he's done this catchphrase.
He's got the catchphrase though.
Yeah. He goes, I'm gonna say this once just because I can, because I'm the Miz. And I'm getting RKO'd.
Yeah.
And that makes 4.
I felt like it was so casual how this happened because like Randy Orton like pops behind him and kind of just does like this on his like arm a couple times, and I feel like Miz was like, oh hey Randy.
And Summer Rae gets the hell out of the ring. She doesn't want to deal with any of that stuff.
She doesn't want a Stacey Keebler moment.
Yep. Yeah, it didn't work out well for Stacey. Then we get Bray Wyatt back up. He's making more
Bray Wyatt
claims.
backup?
Yeah. The Bray Wyatt backup dancers.
Oh. That's some ugly backup
Just bearded people to do this. That's all it is.
I could do that. That could be my job.
You could be a Bray Wyatt backup dancer.
Sweet.
You're right. That was a weird way to say that.
Bray Wyatt promo?
Yes, we get a brand new Bray Wyatt promo. He starts talking. He's still talking towards this person that we don't know. He starts talking about, he's been talking about dedication and bettering yourself, and he starts talking about it doesn't matter if you lift all those weights, because that weight is eventually going to suffocate you, and you're going to drown and it'll suffocate you. And it was like I immediately started thinking Mark Henry, or maybe Ryback, Cesaro. It would be weird if it was Cesaro because he's part of a tag team. It was a weird. I don't know. Like I feel like they were trying to point in a direction, and I wasn't sure what direction they were going in.
Yeah, I still think they're vague booking it. And doing a decent job.
They're just kind of dancing around until they like.
Yeah, here's what's gonna happen: is it's gonna be revealed Monday night after Extreme Rules.
Or maybe during Extreme Rules.
I want to say yes, but I mean, the two people I'm leaning towards are Ryback and Roman Reigns.
Okay.
Not like your Mark Henry thing made sense until I was like, but Mark Henry's not really a relevant person anymore.
Yeah.
He's been off TV more than he's been on TV in the last year.
True.
But Ryback makes sense, and I think that would definitely be an on Raw reveal because Ryback's not scheduled to be in a match at Extreme Rules.
True.
They could do an on pay-per-view reveal with Roman Reigns, but I don't think it's going to happen that way because I feel like, Roman Reigns, they're going to make him look strong at the pay-per-view. And then, basically, I feel like with Roman Reigns, they're just going to be pushing basically every heel in front of Roman Reigns until he gets back to Seth Rollins and back at the title picture. So they're going to keep throwing every viable heel in WWE to just kind of feed them to Roman Reigns to make him look good.
That's fair. Speaking of Ryback, we have Ryback taking on Adam Rose. This is a very random match.
This has been, since WrestleMania, it's been a lot of random shit happening.
Yeah, I think the one thing, I didn't know who was in the ring because we get Ryback's entrance as soon as we come back. But he starts walking through, and I'm like, why are there two lines of people just randomly on the walkway? And then
I didn't even notice the lines of people on the walkway. What I noticed is he got in the ring and they did a quick shot of Adam Rose, and they went back to Ryback, and I went, where are the Rosebuds?
I just saw him walking. I was like, why are there people just standing there? They're just like, all right, just let Ryback through. But I was like, who the fuck are these people? And then we find out that they are the Rosebuds.
Did it not occur to you one of them was a hot dog and one was a banana?
I did not see the hot dog or the banana. Honestly, there were women there. I was like, why are I saw 5 girls just standing in a line. I was like, what the fuck are these people doing there?
Maybe the Godfather was at ringside.
Maybe. That'd have been
also really random.
Yeah, really random. This match does not last long at all. Ryback defeats Adam Rose very soundly and then is attacked by a banana and a hot dog.
I do like that Ryback gave Adam Rose offense.
Yes. Yeah, he got
a second rope drop kick.
Yes,
and some elbow drops.
And he even went for a pin, and he got chucked halfway across the ring.
Almost out of the ring.
Yeah. Ryback gets attacked by the hot dog and the banana.
He sets the hot dog up like he's gonna give him shell shocked, and then the banana comes up, and he's like, okay, well the banana wants to get shell shocked too, and he hits the banana and sets him up He's going to suplex them both, which is really weird to see somebody set up two people under the same arm for a suplex.
Yes, especially when they're wearing a hot dog and a banana costume.
Yes, which must make it, I think, a little bit more difficult to maneuver these people for a maneuver.
Well, when he got them up, like the hot dog costume was like almost over his face.
Yeah, but when he hooks,
I love this line.
When he hooks
so
them,
good.
and he looks directly, like, he looks at the fans, like, to the left, and then he looks back at the camera and goes, "It's funny because it's food." And then he picks him up on his shoulders and gives a shell shock. And then he gets onto the mic. Which I feel like this was completely unplanned.
What did the bananas say to the hot dog? Nothing, because their asses just got shell-shocked.
And just when I think I keep losing faith in Ryback, something like this happens. This
is the you forgot your nuts, stupid. That was great. And then randomly after all of this, Rosa shows up to check on Adam Rose.
Yeah, right. How does that like vampire girl who's like a staple of the Rosebuds feel about this?
I don't know. This might cause some dissension in the Rosebuds.
But I'm gonna be honest here. Can we run a program between Ryback and Adam Rose?
Just have him get attacked by different kinds of food.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. Next week it'll be the lemon and the cheeseburger. And then the next week it will be cheeseburger from Ring of Honor.
Oh, I don't know. Ryback would kill Cheeseburger.
Wouldn't it be ironic if Cheeseburger 1 week was in the cheeseburger costume?
That'd be hilarious. Let's make that a thing. Indie stars are in the Rosebuds all the time. Let's do this. We have Renee talk to Kane. Hey, I want to get a quick word with you. How do you feel about this tweet that was sent out about Kane needing dentures and depends? This was sent out by Jamie Noble.
Well, it was J&J Securities
Yes.
Twitter that sent it out, and Kane storms to the office.
Out.
And you knew that's when you found out it was done by Jamie, because like Kane barges in, he starts yelling, and like Triple H and Seth look really confused.
I love it.
And then Triple H does this. He's like, "Oh."
I love that Jamie's like right up against Kane's chest though when it happens. And he's just like, oh.
And he like puts his head down and he hides behind Triple H.
And then this leads to a really weird Rollins says he's sorry, and
dedicates his match against Dolph Ziggler to Kane.
Yeah, and then the camera follows J&J and Rollins out of the office and down the hallway, and I'm thinking, okay, we're gonna get Rollins say something cheeky and
that's what I thought was gonna happen.
Haha, Kane fell for the whole "I'm so sorry" thing. But then we get Randy Orton going. Randy Orton setting up his next victim.
I was gonna laugh if he just walked in the office and RKO's Triple H.
He's like, "Hey, Hunter, you owe me. Can I just this one?" All right, fine, Randy. Gives him a free RKO.
Based off of what happens in the main event, I almost feel like Triple H was supposed to walk away with Orton and J&J. With Rollins and J&J.
You think so?
Because I feel like the ending might have been a little pre-planned by Kane and Orton.
Ooh. Well, before we get into that, we know that Ryback is going to be taking on Rusev on SmackDown. That should be a physical contest. But then in our main event, we do have Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler. This was an awesome match. A lot of good back and forth stuff, as you know.
Ziggler and Rollins have done it so many times now.
They always deliver, which is
they
great.
know what works.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things. If you have the same people wrestle over and over again, as long as they're entertaining enough to change it up every time and not make it boring. Hashtag Orton versus Cena 942.
It's a thing.
They are able to go, okay, well, we've done this, and all these things are cool. Last time we wrestled, we tried this, and it didn't get over, so let's kick that to the curb, bring something new in, try that, and they gel really well.
Yes. A lot of great spots. Rollins ends up picking up the win after Sheamus causes a distraction for Ziggler. Ziggler trying to knock Sheamus off the apron a couple of times. He gets turned around. Rollins hits him with a buckle bomb and finishes him off with, what would you call that move?
Fallout DDT.
All right, that's cool. There is a rumor going around online potentially that the curb stomp is being banned due to, obviously they have a very strong standing against concussions. They're trying to avoid stuff like that, and it is a devastating move. It kind of irks me, but I understand at the same time. It's one of those things where you just kind of got to deal with it because we don't really have a say in it. But the new finisher's cool. I mean, it wasn't a basic move or anything, and he added a little flurry to it, whatever the fuck he did. So we'll have to see if he keeps going with that or if he changes it up. But Rollins gets on the microphone and starts running his mouth again, saying, I'm going to pin Randy Orton in the middle of this ring. I just proved I'm the man by beating Dolph Ziggler.
And then Triple H interrupts him.
Triple H comes out and says, hey, let's give it up for the man, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins.
And Triple H comes out and says that Seth Rollins is going to beat Randy Orton.
Yeah.
He's like, listen, here's the guy who's going to win on Sunday. And Seth's like, hold on, dude.
Yeah,
I was in the middle of talking.
I wasn't done. I just proved that I'm the man because I dismantled Dolph Ziggler. I'm going to do the same thing to Randy Orton on Sunday, and I'm going to pin him in the middle of the ring, which will render Kane as the gatekeeper completely and utterly useless. And then Kane comes out, and we're like, oh, fuck. Rollins can't keep his mouth shut. He just pissed Kane off again. J&J and Triple H, all three go out to stop Kane.
The suit's trying to stop the half suit.
And then Rollins goes, oh, fuck. I'm in the ring by myself. Bring the cage down. Somebody bring the cage down. So the cage starts coming down, and we got all the authority on the outside, all trying to hold back Kane.
Kane hits like a triple shoulder check.
Yeah, like bust through the group just as the cage is coming down, and Rollins starts laughing at him, but then the crowd starts losing their shit, and Randy Orton is a fucking ninja and is inside the cage behind Rollins.
Well, he's a snake. He can fit through those little holes.
Oh, that's what he did. And then Rollins realizes his mistake, but he can't get away. He tries to climb up the cell, tries to climb up the cage. That just sets him up for another spectacular RKO.
Out of nowhere.
By getting ripped off the top rope, hit with the RKO. Kane laughs, Randy Orton celebrates, and Rollins lays on the mat.
Yeah. And one of the things, too, is that first thing when Rollins realized Orton was in the cage with him, because he went for the door.
Yes.
He went for the door first. And so now we're kind of realizing that power position that Kane's going to have is Rollins is going, oh, crap, knowing that he's in here with Orton, maybe the door will be the easiest option.
Yeah, and that's what Triple H was trying to set up for him was, hey, I'll put someone, obviously Randy Orton has, completely cut the authority off from you, but I can make sure that one of us is out there to help you, but Rollins couldn't keep his fucking mouth shut, and he screwed himself.
Yeah.
So he's got SmackDown. He can try and make nicey nice with Kane. We'll have to see what happens on Thursday. But that is it for the Raw review. We've come to an interesting crossroads here at the Wrestling Rundown due to scheduling conflicts. For the foreseeable future, we will not have Thomas Wolfe. So that puts us with a potential no contest in our fantasy warfare this week. With his work schedule, he hasn't been able to come up with a decision quite yet, so we might have that later in the week. But something we will have later in the week will be Extreme Rules predictions.
Hell yeah.
After SmackDown, we'll have a full card. We'll figure out what's going on with the Divas title. Pretty much all the other matches were announced. But we will have a full set of Extreme Rules predictions coming this weekend. The day before Extreme Rules happens, it will be posted on our YouTube page, which you can find. Well, you should be there already. But you can find that and all the other links down in the description.
Another thing they announced is that there is a potential that we won't be getting Barrett
Yes.
versus Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, they're if Bryan is able to wrestle, there will be an Intercontinental title match. If not, we might be getting the same thing we got this same time last year.
Yeah.
We could be seeing Daniel Bryan being put up on the shelf as champion again. So yeah, there's that'll be obviously it should be addressed and made official by SmackDown.
Yeah, I mean, I like this one is they're definitely not holding it back.
Yeah.
So they're like, yeah, hey, something is wrong with Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
There's a potential the match will get scrapped. Another thing that I thought was interesting, though, is that the fact that it's Extreme Rules, a lot of these matches aren't popping up with stipulations.
No, well, really, the only ones, I mean...
The Tag Team title match, no stipulation.
And the Intercontinental title.
And the Intercontinental title and the Divas title.
Divas,
despite not having a number one contender, but...
Divas title I didn't think was going to have a stipulation. The Intercontinental title I can understand. If Bryan does do it, they probably don't want to put anything extra in there that could further the injury. The tag titles, I was kind of hoping. That's another thing we might get later in the week.
Yeah.
We just got the match announced. Now it'll be a decision like, okay, what type of match will both teams agree upon. So we got a few more days for that decision to be made. And if they happen to post it online, we'll actually share that on our Facebook, which you can find down in the description with all the other links we were talking about. You can subscribe to the YouTube page. You can follow us on Facebook, the Tumblrs, the Twitters, Instagram, the emails, all that stuff. Post down in the comments what you thought about Raw, what you thought about the RKO-a-thon, what you thought about Kane accepting the U.S. Open Challenge, all that stuff. Let's talk about some wrestling. Be sure to follow the playlist throughout the week. We've got the indie news, we got midweek wrap-up, we got SmackDown rundown, we might have a Fantasy Warfare, and we'll have Extreme Rules predictions later in the week. And we'll see you in whatever video you decide to watch next. Hopefully, midweek wrap-up, because that's probably going to be next.
Choices.